Okay, so this is my lifespan timeline. My name is Emma. I am 21. I just turned 21 on November 24th. I currently live in St. Clair Shores, but I'm from the Saginaw region, is like where I grew up and everything. So, all right. Um, get to know Emma. So, this is me at the St. Patty's Day race in Bay City. I usually run that every year with my family. This past year was the first year that we haven't done it just because of COVID, which sucks. But also, fun fact, I did the Saginaw Township Police Explorers program for about 5 years. Things that I did included I did a lot of volunteer work, National Night Out. I'd volunteer at the party at McCarty's. I'd always be volunteering at. I got to do ride-alongs. I got to see an autopsy get done. So lots of cool things, and I'm very grateful for that experience. This is my little bandit. He's my partner in crime. He's 13, and he's like my sidekick. I take him in the car with me everywhere. He's my little guy. This is my boyfriend and I think this was 2018. We went to Frankfurt and went salmon fishing, and we caught a lot. But we both forgot a fillet knife, so we ended up giving all of our salmon to the guys that were camping next to us. But very, very fun. I want to go back hopefully next year when COVID's like not a thing. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can go back because that was a lot of fun. This is me. I'm like I don't know, it's hard to say me, but this was for the Murph a couple years ago. I think this was the biggest group that we've had. It was a lot of fun. It sucked though because it was like 93 degrees that day, but I was very impressed with myself. I've never done anything like that, so it was very cool to push myself and do something that I've never done before. This is my boyfriend and I. He's the cutest little bean. I think we were going to the cider mill with family. That's another thing, is I love to be with family. That's me at Pierce with a bunch of my friends. I used to waitress there. This is me at my first CrossFit competition, where I actually ended up herniating my L5 disc, and kind of ended any heavy lifting for me, just because my body's not having it. But it's something I'm working towards. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I loved CrossFit. This is me hiking after my cousin's wedding. My siblings and I went out, and obviously you're not supposed to go out there, but we did it anyway because it was fun, and we needed to get a picture. Okay, this is basically just the slide that describes like your milestones that you're supposed to have and the timeline that kind of children are supposed to follow, or infants are supposed to follow. In the next slide, you'll see like my milestones of like I have the chin and chest up in there and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, I think it's kind of cool to look at like where you're supposed to be and how children like progress, either they're behind or more advanced. Like I think it's just interesting to think about that kind of stuff and how your body changes in your mind and all that stuff. And I don't know, now I'm like really thinking about it. I'm like, what can parents do to, help their children to make sure that they are successful? And, sits with support might seem like a silly thing, but it's like not when you're a baby. Say you're 8 months and you're still not doing it. But I don't know, that's probably not with this class. But anyway, at 2 months, I was chin and chest up. At 5.5, I was rolling over. 8 months, I was crawling, and then I also added in the stepping reflex because that was something that I would do. My dad said I really liked those like bouncy things that they like hang up by the door, and then you sit in them and like you bounce. I don't know, apparently I really love those. All my siblings and I all really liked those. And then 11 months I was walking. I'm sorry about like no pictures, because I think because I was the last child, no one wanted to take pictures of me because they're like, well, she looks like our other two children. So baby pictures are scarce with me. And I was a very curious baby. I always like to move around and get into everything and make my dad's life very difficult. I was very good at that. This is for your childhood, foundational skills and specialized skills. Some of those include running, long jump, vertical jump, throwing, striking, all that kind of stuff. But there's usually like 3 different stages. It's the initial, elementary, and mature stage, and usually it goes right in that order. You start with your initial stage of running, and then you obviously in the book it shows like the key points that you're supposed to hit and what characterizes, you know, an elementary stage of running versus the mature stage. For my specialized skill, I did the squat snatch. This was something that I learned while doing in CrossFit. I threw in some pictures as well. This was actually me practicing the night before my competition. And basically I put in here like kind of what you do. Obviously, like at this point in time, I already knew how to deadlift and I already kind of knew how to squat. Or like back squat, but something that was new for me was overhead squatting. That was something that I've never really done before. It's not really a conventional lift, it's more of an Olympic lift. So my first one was master the overhead squat and also learning how to snatch. I learned how to do those things separately. And I didn't know how to like word this correctly or make it make sense, but basically like I learned how to snatch with using a PVC pipe. I mean, I could go through all the steps of CrossFit. You kind of have to start at the bare minimum and then move your way up. Like I just learned how to bounce. You can kind of see it in that middle picture. You actually kind of bounce that barbell right off, not right on your hips, but you do kind of use that momentum. That bar goes straight up. You don't want it going out. And then you're able to get under it, which you see in that far right picture is me getting underneath that bar and your shoulder blades back. That was one thing that was really hard for me, is getting that flexibility in your shoulders, because it's not like a normal movement to put that bar and you're almost like squeezing a ball in between your shoulder blades. But anyway, so you use a PVC pipe and then you use a barbell with no weight, and then you slowly add, start with like 10 pounds. I know when I was doing CrossFit, they had, it was basically wood, so it was the size, so you knew how to grab it off the ground, but it wasn't any weight added on. And then you slowly add weight to your barbell, and by doing this, I put that it's blocked practice, because you're repeating the same skill, and you need to master the overhead squat, you need to master the squat snatch before you do a squat snatch, because it's a very fast paced. To get underneath that bar, you have to be like, it needs to be a second of getting underneath there. So definitely blocked practice. You could also put in there like serial practice, go over and over and over and over again. So yeah, that was always fun. Okay, so this is me in adulthood. This is just me at my 21st birthday. My sister did a little like birthday at her place, because I'm not really into partying, and then it was kind of fun too because it's COVID birthday, so we had like party hats, and this is little Bobo. The next slides are my like timeline that I'm hoping to accomplish. So timeline / goals that I have for myself. So I put continue to work with Sarah Fector to improve my overall health. I've been working with her for actually my first ever like check-in. I was just looking at this the other day, was 2017, but it's been on and off. But this past 6 months, I've been really focusing with her. Not just on obviously I want to lose a little bit of weight, but it's more about mentally getting way better, getting my mind right, making sure that I'm eating good. That doesn't just mean, oh, you're eating healthy, because people think like I have these Popcorners chips. Yes, those are healthy, but it's still processed crap. So just things like that I'm trying to improve on. I want to start reading for at least 20 minutes a day. I've been getting better at that because I've slowed down and I have enough time. I'm not working right now just because of COVID. I'm actually taking care of my great grandma, so if that's a job, but with waitressing, we're shut down, so I've been able to get healthier, I think, mentally and physically. Work harder and study more in school. I'm learning that doing it on your own, it's very hard to do, I find. Finish my degree, so obviously exercise science, finish my degree at SVSU, and then maybe go on and get my master's Lord, who knows if I'm really going to want to do more school after this, but definitely do like extra certifications and stuff like that. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. But I think once I get past like my gen eds, I will love school. Explore more Michigan, marriage and children, and I put in there if my boyfriend will put up with me for that long, because who knows. My 40s and 50s, I put continue to participate in physical activity, make time for my personal needs. So like this past week I made a dermatologist appointment, and it seems small and subtle, but it's a big deal for me because I rarely do things like that for myself. And then I put in there expand my knowledge in my field, continue to study and learn new things, whether that's going to seminars or whatever, I don't know, raising my children. And then I put my 60s to 70s, make sure that I'm still participating in daily activities, example, walking or biking. This kind of ties into just like taking care of myself. I'm not a smoker. I really don't drink. I monitor my blood oxygen levels, my heart rate, all that kind of stuff weekly. So kind of making sure that I'm still making that a priority is also something. Retire, watch my grandchildren, and help out my kids with raising their kids, spend more time with family, travel abroad, and then my 70s and 80s, keep my body moving, baking. I do love to bake. My great grandma taught me a lot on how to bake, so I'm sure I will be doing some baking. Help at grandkids' school, volunteer. I always thought it was cool, those parents that would come into school and they would do like, I don't know, just help volunteer. I think that would be fun. In my 90s, be with family. I don't know how much physical activity I will be getting in my 90s because I take care of great grandma who's 95. She still moves around, but like she ain't going on no walks or nothing. Like it starts to, your body just slowly starts to. And then my longevity is 96 based on the game that we played. And obviously factors that included in that were like I don't eat really any fast food, not a smoker, my heart rate is good, my blood pressure, all that good stuff. Conclusion, infancy was chin and chest up, rolling over, crawling, walking, and then the walking reflex. Childhood was learning how to squat snatch. I could also throw in there like that side, like hit striking. I played softball, so that would be another thing, striking or throwing, overhead throwing. Adulthood, hopefully finish my degree and start a family and travel. So a little bit of